Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's Art as Ibadat session, which is connecting with the divine, is all about perspectives and looking at things from different angles. In my previous session, I did a tulip, which one of my sisters had left for me. And from the bunch of tulips, I decided to use another colored flower and create a piece today for you all. With these sessions, my real intention is to, of course, be mindful, of course, to look at what there is in nature. But the deeper intention is to build a relationship with the divine, to observe that what He has created around us as beauty for us to enjoy, cherish, and learn from, of course. So as I begin this journey, I always have a few minutes to myself where I observe, look, and see where it's going to take me and guide me. In this piece, I'm starting with the sun because I feel like when I looked at the tulip, what really stood out to me is how it grows upwards, looking at the sun. So for my grounding beginning, I did create a tiny little sun and divided it into different portions. It's not necessarily that you need to draw the sun, but as you all know that storytelling is such a major part of my art that I can't help myself but bring in these elements and things that help me build the story or the emotion that I'm working with on the day. As I start creating the tulip, I realized that I wasn't really happy with the shape, so I kept working on getting it right, and a part of me truly got frustrated. And it reminded me that how when we go onto a journey, when we begin something, when we start looking at things differently, it doesn't always make sense, and it could be a little frustrating because we're not getting or grasping because we're trying so hard to get to a place. So I learned that lesson and I let go of the portion that I was working on and then started working on another part and then came back to the same part and realized that that is what I needed. I needed to break myself to looking at just one portion so intensely and release that control, that feeling of, just getting it right. So that really was helpful. And as I moved forward, the flow started coming, and that's the whole magic of, creating, is when you get into the flow, then you just don't want it to stop and you keep perfecting and wanting to be like better or at least what there is to copy. At this point, of course, when I speak about better or perfection, it's not something that I aim for in my work. I believe that perfection is only for that who is perfect, and knowing myself, I'm not perfect, and acknowledging that it is the beauty of being a human that I'm not. So at so many levels, art has ways of teaching us about our thoughts, about our understanding and values of who we are, and the way we create is such a profound way of understanding the soul that you are born with. And so as that journey of working with the pencil finishes, I move into the coloring side of things. Now with the colors, I generally tell people, like, of course you start with what you see, but it's also really important to bring in that what you feel. So you could not be feeling what you're seeing, so it's nice to actually be very present about the colors that you put in. Don't just start by looking and then just going with it. Let the colors also become a friend and guide you. They have a way of speaking. So like when you put on the red color or the orange color, there's a part of you inside, if you're very conscious, it'll kind of say, ooh, I really like that, and that what you like, or that what makes you smile, is actually coming from a very deep core within you. So it's not something that you seeing is making you happy. It's something within you that is feeling happy as you do this, use this color. So make sure you're very conscious that Don't try to copy the colors as they are, but always like kind of play with them if that's what you want to. Now with the sun, of course, for me, yellow is the sun and all that, very typical. But then I also wanted my sun to have a little bit of space where it was very white. So I didn't want to like fill it up completely flat when it came to the sun. It was more like something within me was saying that the sun that I want to see is so bright because it's just pulling the flower towards itself. And as I go towards the leaf, it was really interesting because I was like, oh my god, it just has one leaf, and there's so many petals. But then that reminded me that it's okay. It's okay to be one leaf, because just because you don't see it doesn't mean the others aren't there. They were there at one time. And so I started drawing more leaves in memory of those that once were around this leaf. As I said, storytelling is like one of the major parts of my work, and I always think like I start with something and it just takes over into something else. And most times I say most times, but it's always that I never know where it is going to go. And usually when I'm creating pieces from nature, I like to like keep going back to the piece, keep going and touching it, keep going and asking what it is that you learned, what is it that you want to give me, and what is it that you're going to leave behind for me to learn from you. So always keep going back to the flower and touching it and asking it, because they speak. Even though it's a flower and it's not, for some it might not be alive, but the energy is still there. And us being the energy body, when you're connecting from the soul, when you're creating from the subconscious mind, that is something so magical when you tap into and you realize that energy truly never dies. So the flower might look all dying to you, or it's like on its way to the end, but you don't know what it's doing, because to me it's passing on that energy that is helping me create, helping me look and be more present and to learn from the lesson that it has lived in its life. So as I always say, like, don't hold on to an idea of what it will be, because then you limit yourself to what it could be. So allow yourselves to just play with the story and let it evolve. Don't hold on to idea like this, the leaves are going to be always visible. They might not, they could, whatever it is. It's this helps to let go of control that we are so used to in our normal lives. And when you're consciously creating, the one thing that starts happening is the piece starts talking to you, and it literally tells you, like, just stop now, or I want a little bit of blue here, or there's a conversation that starts happening with that what you are creating, and it's such a beautiful friendship. If you allow it to develop, but do remind yourselves to be easy on you. Like, don't think you're gonna be able to do or connect like right away. It's all about practice. It's all about the more you do it, the more you open that within you, the communication, and then the friendship begins. So no relationship can just be, just happen. It needs time, it needs attention, and it needs a lot of care. As I go into the background, for me, it's all about, looking at the top blue portion, and it reminded me of the beautiful blue skies that we have, and how the rain falls down, how the rain comes down in little tiny droplets. And so I've tried to bring that in this piece, and allow myself again to be free. Now, when you look at the piece, you might think that there's some mistakes or anything, but to me, there are no mistakes. It's just a different perspective, it's just a different view, it's just how it works. So I hope this piece brings you some inspiration, something that you also will feel like creating one day, and allowing yourself to ponder on the creativity of God and connect yourself to the divine, because all we are here to do is to love ourselves and to be that who He wants us to be. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day.